Hi guys, and welcome back to another YouTube video. In this video I'll be doing my AFL fantasy trade targets for round 3 and who you should really be trying to get in above all, and trying to fix up I guess those mid-price mistakes that you and I definitely made, and then I guess trying to predict if those guys will continue their course to get onto the premium status, I guess. So before we get into it, remember to like and subscribe, turn the notification bell on for so that you'll know when I post more content, and then yeah, let's get into the video. So I've gone over here and I've done the usual and gone over here and sorted it to 3-round average, because that's what we are at the moment, and that'll help us to do break evens. And I guess that's how the break evens are calculated. And Oliver is smashing it at the moment, number 1 player in the comp, 136 average. I don't think he'll obviously hold that average, but he's a guy that let me make this bigger. There we go. He's a guy that I think you really, if you can afford to get him in, if you have no other mistakes and you can downgrade a rookie to get an upgraded premium to get him, then I think you really should try to. Then you got Ryan here, averaging 135.5, just shy of Oliver. I think he's a little bit less on the need to get him side, as I think he's a type of guy that will, I guess, slide down back to 105, 100 type of range, and I think he just needs one bad game for that to happen. Trelaw, I believe, coming back from injury, but that will, I think he's probably not the best choice. Pickett's suspended. Brayshaw's hitting his, basically hitting his price, isn't he? I think he's just about hitting his price, his break even. So he is a good option if you want a definite scorer and a captaincy, vice captaincy option, but I don't think he's the best if you want value, I guess, at the moment. One guy I'd like to point out here, well, 2 guys here, are LDU, Luke Davis-Uniacke. 123 in the last game. He's looked really, really good and has the fixtures, I guess, now to really, he'll do well against Hawks, I think. Against Carlton, he should do really, really well. And then he has Brisbane in Adelaide. I don't know how to think about that game, and he'll do really, really well against the Suns. So I think he's definitely an option if you can fit him in. Then you have Dacos, who I really wanted to get in this round, but I just didn't want to close myself off and basically almost ruin my season, because if I got Dacos in, it meant that I had so limited options next week, whereas I downgraded him to Stocker instead, who I suspect will continue up his form and increase his price, and I just found more value in that overall and more gaining of team value through Stocker than Dacos. So I might lose a little bit score-wise, but I gain a lot more value-wise. Steele is injured. Cox, I just don't like how he can be thrown forward if they need to win the game, and that could really limit his score. And also I think he's just not going to be kicked to as much now that Freo know that their backline really needs to actually distribute the ball rather than just kick it back and forth. Scholl I was surprised about, and he's one that I wouldn't trade in at the moment, but I'd look at again and see how he does, because if he pulls out another 100 score, he will definitely be an option. And that'll really be an option for me to get out of the likes of Sheed. And that'll really sort out my my side, I guess. And then Waterman, I don't like. Nankervis, I don't like. Zeeble, I do really like. But again, like I was saying with the likes of Dacos, if I got rid of if I got into the likes of Zeeble, I was worried about Aaron Hall coming back, as that is a very big potential of happening, as he did score 122, I believe it was, in the VFL. He went huge. And so that's a knock on Zeeble, as well as the fact that Zeeble does have an injury history, and I just think that could easily come back to bite you. And really, I want to be skating clear of those 600k guys in the forward line at the moment, because they just don't look consistent enough. And I really want to wait to be able to get go big on Chandler. So I'm potentially looking at a Dom Sheed and Chandler for Cornelio and a rookie, a la George Wardlaw, something like that. and that'll be how I upgrade that forward line. So talking about Cornelio, he's somewhere around here. He's, I think, a really, really good option. He's just showing that he can consistently be a top 6 forward. And if you really wanted to finish your forward line because you have the 4 premiums plus Sheasel, who's almost turning into a premium so quickly, then if you can get that F6 into a forward very, very quickly, you can set and forget your forward line for a while. And it means that when Harry Sheasel gets the defender status, you can move him down back and bring in like a Dylan Moore or someone else who gets the forward status. Looking down here, Sicily, I think his big game against the Bombers and then his follow-up against the Swans really showed that he can fall out of favour in games. I think if they get flogged week in, week out, I just don't see him almost having the will to play almost at this point, because they play North. If they lose to North, they're going to lose to Geelong. They're going to go in 0-4 against the Giants, who I think will have all their players back and run them over to run the Hawks into the ground. So Hawks will go 0-5. Then they play Adelaide, Western Bulldogs, Fremantle, and Melbourne. They could realistically be 0-9 here. And then we're looking at the Eagles like, can they please just win against the Eagles so it's not a winless season? So I do think that Sicily won't be the best option, just because he did pull out an 87, which was a 47 across the last 3 quarters in the game on the weekend. So I just think that if he continues and has a bad full game, then you're pulling out like a 60 for him rather than, and I just think he'll go back down. If he has another 87, I think his score goes down to he goes down to like 98, 97 already, his average. So he just needs another bad game or two and he's going to really tank his average. Libba, I thought, was really an alright choice. Not the best choice, but definitely a good choice. Then you have Merritt and Parrish, who look really good in the Essendon midfield. Cogs, as I talked about. Redmayne. And now I'm just going to look through options here at the lower price. If I actually take out all prices, go down to 800 and 900, we've basically talked about it. 700 range, you have not many people. I think Sarong made up for his bad performance in the first game. Well, not necessarily bad performance, but bad fantasy performance without the 4 tackles and the two less marks. Really made up for it. Rouse looked alright. I wouldn't jump on him yet, but looking at their fixture here, he's got Geelong. If he does well against Geelong, and then he jumps up to 730, maybe he becomes an option. But I'm just too weary at the moment with Rao that he returns back to his normal, and he really doesn't perform that well. And then there's not really anyone else here. Maybe Josh Dacos, but again, he fell away in the second half of the last game and showed that even though he did outscore his 91 from the previous round, I don't think he can pull out those big scores that you need from him, given that he's on the wing. 600 to 699, you got Cox, Siebel. Mason Wood's actually really been good, and I was surprised about it, to be honest. He's pulled out a 99 and a 101. I want another week of him of results to really see how he pulls out. If he pulls out another 100, then he'll be 730, 740k, so he's probably almost past the point that you can grab him in. But what's his percentage? Owns only 1%, so yeah, a good player of difference. Will Day, another guy that you really should be targeting, 21% owned. And the reason I didn't target him was because I think it's to the point where I just don't have enough cash to have enough options there to be able to do anything. I really want to, in the case that Constable is dropped, and then I can go the likes of Constable and probably even Cam McKenzie down to a rookie, and that'll be able to get me with the 180k up to a 700k defender, and that'll probably even just be Will Day at that point as well. Maybe even with the fact that I have so much price cash in the bank, I can go Will Day, Constable and Uland for Will Day and someone else, and that'll get me to where I need to be. Anyone in the 500k region, only Shoal and all these guys. Rochelle was an interesting one actually to point out. I think he's one that you could actually go for. He's looked all right, and 95 average. I'm pretty sure he's a really good break even of like 20 odd. So even if he only scores a 50 or a 60, which kind of sucks because he has that capability, I think he'll go up. He'll still go up, and he's getting the better midfield minutes than he wasn't really getting in his rookie season. So you could see that out of him. And then I won't talk about really the rookies because they are, I guess, rookies, and I did talk about them in my cash cows, so I won't really talk about them much. So you have Owens here, who has done really well. The only thing that is turning me off from grabbing him is that he scored out of his 167 points, he's scored 32 of them, so almost a fifth of his score has come from his goals and behinds, which isn't the best. And I just want to see another week and see, can he hold seven tackle marks and tackles combined, or is he going to drop to like 4 or 5 and really drop off? So I just want to wait another week with him. And yeah, I think that's pretty much it for everyone in the trade targets this video. So before I go, remember to like and subscribe, turn the notification bell on so you can be alerted when I put up new content, and I'll see you guys in my Thursday videos for the prep for round 3. So thanks guys, goodbye.